Lacrosse community, my name is Ryan Berns. I'm the president of the Lacrosse Leadership Institute. It's our mission to empower all those that love lacrosse, to recognize the skills you gain from the sport, to ultimately live the life of your dreams. Today, we're so fortunate to be joined by Ash. She's coming from us across the pond, if you will. Right now, she's an assistant coach for Wales. She played at Cornell, and she's had a ton of experience being a captain of international teams. Ash, thank you so much for joining us today. For our community that isn't totally familiar with you, can you please share a little bit about yourself and how you got involved in lacrosse and where you are now?
Yeah, hi everyone. First off, thank you so much for having me. I think I'm probably the first international guest, so really excited to be here. I'm originally from Baltimore, Maryland, although I don't sound like it anymore, probably. But I picked up a stick when I was probably 6 or 7 years old, as you do in Baltimore. And yeah, just caught the lacrosse fever from a young age, and yeah, have really had a stick in my hand ever since. So as you said, I ended up going to Cornell, and in my final year of Cornell, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do next. I had been thinking about going back to med school, but my coach came to me with the opportunity to move abroad and coach lacrosse in England for a year. And I'd never been abroad before. I was like, okay, yes, I'm going to do this. So I really jumped at the chance. And 13 years later, I'm still based in the UK. So I still live in England, which is a bit crazy. I can't believe that much time's flown. But to be honest, playing at Cornell was amazing, and growing up was amazing. But I think being over in the UK, I really found my true love of lacrosse, and I think have been able to experience the game in a totally different way to a lot of other people. So in 2010, I originally got connected to Team England as a coach, and then found out I might be eligible to play, and then ended up making the squad and competed in 2 World Cups. I played in 2013, woohoo! And then played in 2017 when we won the bronze medal, which was pretty amazing. And then, yeah, lacrosse has been in my life ever since. So I retired after the 2017 World Cup and really started to focus on coaching. And I started my own lacrosse company called AMG Sport, and which has been amazing. It's really, really taken off, which has been really special. And now I'm an assistant coach for Team Wales. I'm headed to the World Cup next summer. So yeah, it's been kind of highlight to highlight to highlight. So I've just been really fortunate. So yeah, I think that's kind of a whirlwind whistle stop tour of my lacrosse life.
Oh my gosh, Ash, yeah, it sounds like you just keep on taking the ball and being able to expand and grow bigger and bigger. Do you have a pinnacle moment, or is there a moment or two that really sticks out to you?
Yeah, without a doubt. I actually, I was thinking about this. There's 2 kind of big defining moments, I think, for me in my lacrosse, life. The first one actually is an off-field moment, and this was back in 2010, and I had just made the England World Cup team, and I was absolutely thrilled and I'm a teacher as well. I'm a trained teacher, and at the time I had been working in a school, and the school was paying for me to get my teacher training done. And I went to the headmaster, really excited, thinking he'd be thrilled. And he actually said to me, he was like, oh, actually, you're going to need to quit, because I don't think you can balance working at the school and playing international lacrosse. And for me, I was like, it was a really defining moment for me, because I was like, hold on a second, this is an opportunity any lacrosse player would kill for, and something anybody would dream of as well, to represent your country on the international stage. And I think I was at a real quandary. I could listen to this person and accept it and just say goodbye to my dreams, or I could really step up and have that kind of self-belief and seize the moment. So I turned to him and I kind of said, actually, I wasn't asking for your opinion, I was telling you what I am doing. And when I made the 2013 World Cup then and played, I did think back to him, and I was like, cool, he was a very small thought in my mind. But that clearly, I think for me, that was a huge defining moment, because it really reinforced that you need to have self-belief. You know, nobody else is going to believe in you if you don't believe in you. So that was really key for me. And then the other like real highlight for me was the 2017 World Cup. We had, you know, an amazing coach. We had a really connected team. I earned my 50th international cap in the bronze medal game, and I was a, you know, co-captain on the team, and it was really, really special. So and I'm not sure if you've watched the match or not, but if you haven't, find it on YouTube, because it was a come from behind victory. I think we were down by about 5 goals at halftime, and the weather changed. It was sunny when we started, and like the heavens absolutely opened by the end of the game, and we won in quadruple overtime against Australia. So yeah, if you haven't watched the match, I highly recommend it. It's worth a view. So, but yeah, that was the other real pinnacle moment for me in lacrosse. But hopefully more to come at the next World Cup as a coach.
And that's probably the coolest thing in my mind, the fact that you can take those moments but continue to build upon them. It starts with that first one of having belief in yourself and having the confidence that you know what you want to do. You set your goals and you take that. And if that means you have to navigate or adapt other parts of your life, so be it. And it sounds like you really were able to take that challenge on. And is that something that you preach, or how do you really talk with people as they're trying to take on their own opportunities or difficulties, if you will?
Yeah, I think it is something that I, particularly for women, I think it's so easy to, for us to think, oh, we don't have the experience. Oh, you know, somebody else will be better. Oh, you know, it's okay. They don't believe in me. I'm gonna take a step back until I'm ready. But I think what I've really learned, through my lacrosse experience and, you know, starting my business and, you know, even in my coaching roles, you know, you have to seize every opportunity that's in front of you, and you just have to go for it. You know, there's no holding back. You know, you've got to believe in yourself. And I think, you know, I was thinking about what are the key qualities of a leader, and for me, self-belief is one. I think the second one for me would have to be decisiveness and kind of that decision-making quality, because I think when your team needs you, or, you know, the people around you need you, and they need you to step up as a leader, they need someone who's going to make those decisions. And they're not always going to be the right decision, but they need someone to step up and make a decision. And I think the third one for me then, the key leadership trait is being authentic. And I think that's something that I've really come to, and I kind of come on a journey, learning what I feel comfortable in and what's important to me as a leader. So I think being authentic is really key as well. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry, you look like you're about to say something there.
No, I just want to, so it sounds like a leader to you is someone who is, they're decisive. So they're going to make a decision at the end of the day. They have that self-belief. They're confident in themselves. And ultimately, they are people that are authentic. They're able to connect with others and really share maybe a more vulnerable side. And that allows them to be the strongest leaders.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think when you think of that authenticity, like not everyone's the same. And I think if you can look across various sports, and there are all kinds of different successful leaders. And it's been really nice finding out for myself, you know, what type of leader I am. And you can only do that a little bit by trial and error, but you pick it up along the way. But I think you find the most success when you are being you. And I think, you know, that journey comes with time and experience and wisdom and all of that. But yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. Those three qualities are really key for me.
So is that the type of leader that you are, just having those three qualities, or what type of leader would you say you are?
Oh, good question. I think I've always been, I think I've always been a lead by example. So I don't like to ask someone to do something that I don't feel comfortable doing myself, or I haven't kind of been there gritting and working and doing as well. So I think definitely I lead by example. I am not one of those shouty leaders. I think for me, a calm presence and that leadership role has been useful. And I think probably on a lot of the teams, I've kind of taken on that mom responsible type role. I'm not necessarily kind of the party animal. I'm more of the, the life of the party. I'm more of a, calm, quiet, make sure everybody's happy and settled. And, that's more been my role. But yeah, I don't think there's a wrong quality. I think it's about how you make you fit the role, I think is important for me.
And that's all in part of being authentic, deciding who you are as yourself and who you want to be. And it sounds like being that person who is willing to lead from the front, set a standard for others to follow. And maybe that's that mom mentality, or being responsible, but being able to lift others up. When you're going about coaching right now and training, what are you telling the girls or the youth that you're coaching right now of how they can become the best versions of themselves?
Yeah, do you know what? I think on my teams, it's really about trying to identify the strengths within the team and within each individual. And you just said, lift players up. I think one of the things that the two other Wales coaches will laugh if they hear this, but they, I always say, lift it, girls, lift it. And I think it's about, empowering the players that you have to have confidence and, take the risk, because I think it's so easy to just be settled, but the magic happens for players on the field when they're empowered to just go for it. So that's my goal. I can't say I always do that, but I do really try and support the players and make them feel confident, really going for it and taking risks.
So you're screaming on the field, lift it, or in practice, lift it. And that's just empowering the girls to take that opportunity to believe in themselves.
Yeah, I think maybe it's just a little cue in the back of their mind, hopefully. But yeah, that's what I go for. So that's what I'm aiming for. I can't say that it always works, but yeah, I think also for me, the team is really important, that selfless quality that, especially in elite teams. I think it's different for younger sports, but at the elite level, it's not playing time's not fair and it's not equal. You've got to do what's best for the team. And I think as a player, sometimes it's really hard to put yourself second and put the team first. And I think because I've been through all those roles and now have the coaching side, I think I can identify with the players and support them through that journey to really putting the team first as well. So I think that is definitely for me, really making team number one is key as well.
And Ash, as you're talking about this selflessness and putting the team number one, I can't help but think about the fact that you have all this international experience. And there's a big part of our community that probably isn't even aware of what that international venue looks like. Can you share a little bit more about your experience as a player and as a coach?
Yeah, definitely. I think when I first came over, so I moved over in 2008 after I graduated from Cornell, and I had my interview to move over, and I think I had this vision that, nobody else really played lacrosse in the world. I think I had this kind of backward vision that like, oh, nobody is as good as the US, and I think I was really very quickly put to rights about that the level of play is phenomenal. And I think as an England player, you can't fault the commitment, the dedication, the drive. We have players on our team who were doctors and lawyers and kind of, high-powered London people who were still giving up their time, giving up their money, giving up, all their free moments to play lacrosse. And it's, over here, it's fully self-funded. So, you don't get any financial support, which is really challenging, but actually I think in some ways you truly have to love lacrosse to carry on over here. But I have to say being over here really made me passionate about lacrosse. And I think the experiences that I, was given over here, it really made me passionate about giving back to lacrosse as well, which is why I started my company and, have, worked my way through the ranks of coaching over here. And it's a really special, quite close-knit community, and a really great network of people. So a lot of dedicated people over here. as I'm sure in the States as well. But yeah, it's a really small, close-knit community, which is really special actually to be a part of.
It's interesting to hear that. What's coming up for me is the fact that it sounds like it's a mastermind, basically. All these elite women getting together, really big, powerful in whatever field they're in, but they've got a commonality of lacrosse. They want to be together. They're willing to sacrifice time for that. And I can imagine that you probably bounce ideas off of one another to learn how to be successful with your own way of life. Do you mind sharing a little bit more about AMG Sports and what you're up to with that and how you've been developing that business?
Yeah, absolutely. So after the 2017 World Cup, I retired from international play and still wanted to have a really strong connection to the lacrosse community. And I think one of the things that's pretty cool as well over here is a lot of the teachers, like PE teachers, physical education teachers over here in the schools that play lacrosse, a lot of them have representation through the England team or through Wales or Scotland. So actually, it's a pretty amazing network of teachers and coaches. So we're able to kind of get in and speak to a lot of different schools, which is really special. I'm now able to run some camps. And I think one of the things that probably the girls, the school age girls don't realize over here is that, you know, when they're on some of the camps that they're on, they are being coached by the England captain and Scotland players and Welsh players and some of the best players in the world. And because they see them at school, they don't really appreciate it in the same way that you would if you had a US team member coaching you. So I always kind of chuckle at the end of the day, when I get to my camps and I'm like, oh, who's your favorite player? And they don't even realize that some of the best players in the world have really been coaching them. So I think one of my missions now actually is really about kind of empowering women and also like highlighting some of the amazing female athletes, the lacrosse players in particular, but female athletes in general, to younger players, I think, and younger women over here. I think, exposure is such a huge thing. And I know it's a big thing in America as well, but, the strides that America's making, I feel like England, it needs to be making at the same time as well. So it's something that, because I've seen it from both sides, I think I've become really passionate about that. So.
I could imagine with the vantage point of being in the States and probably having family, friends, everyone here, and just the entertainment as it is and pop culture here, especially with the professional leagues, but now being in England and seeing how maybe that notoriety isn't there, but the women are equally talented. I can imagine how that starts to spark a passion and maybe it's an opportunity to be able to develop something that's not necessarily there abroad that is in the States.
Do you know what? That's exactly it. I think it really is about, it really has sparked my passion. And, I think anything that we can do to help is progress. So any small impact that I can have to make the journey easier for the next person behind me or, give them more support, I think that's something that I want to be a part of. So yeah, any little impact I can have is something I walk away proud of.
I love the idea of making the journey easier for anyone behind you. I think that's what a great definition of a leader is. It's someone who holds themselves accountable to high standards, willing to do whatever it takes and willing to do something and ask others if they'd be willing to do as well. And you just exemplify all these different things, Ash. So thank you so much for taking the time and being on this. Do you have any last thoughts you'd like to share with our community about lacrosse, your leadership, or anything else?
Do you know what? You had kind of asked me to think about what I would pass on to younger players. And I think the key thing for me has, lacrosse has always been a bit of a love affair. I've loved it and I've had the passion for it. And through the highs and lows, I've always really enjoyed lacrosse and enjoyed being with my teammates. And I think it's so easy to get bogged down by the excess. And the recruiting and all of that. But I think if you can find the moments of just enjoying being with your teammates, I think that's what's key for me. So yeah, be present in the moment if you can and enjoy the journey. That's my highlights.
Oh, Ash, I love the idea of being present, enjoying the people that you're with, and I can't help but really enjoy this conversation with you today. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for being a part of this Lacrosse Leadership Institute, and we really wish you the best of luck with the next international tournament.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. I really appreciate the opportunity as well. Thank you so much.